It all started with a thumb, my thumb, hovering over my phone. I was sending the final details for a surprise party to my mate Dave. Secret location, time, and instructions to hide with party poppers. My thumb, slick with pizza grease, confidently hit send. I felt accomplished, set my phone down, and went back to watching competitive cheese rolling. Why worry? It was just a text to Dave. The world spun on, cheese rollers tumbled, and I was blissfully unaware. But my phone had pulled a classic trick, auto-suggesting the wrong contact. Instead of my mate, the message went to another Dave, a shipping logistics manager I barely remembered. This Dave, in a different city, stared at his phone, confused. My party plan was now sitting in a corporate inbox in Sydney, not a suburban street in Melbourne. The secret was out, but not to the right people. A party invitation had just crossed state lines and landed in the hands of a stranger. This Dave had no idea who Sarah was or why anyone would party in a warehouse. My simple mistake was about to spiral out of control, and I was still at home watching cheese roll down a hill. The universe, I thought, was in perfect balance. But my thumb had just lit a very long, very complicated fuse. The message was a digital fish out of water. It was about to set off a chain reaction I couldn't imagine. All because I texted the wrong Dave. Sometimes the smallest slip can have the biggest consequences, and I was completely oblivious. In a Sydney office, logistics. Dave stared at my message. His world was spreadsheets and certainty, not surprise parties. A surprise at an old warehouse on Dock Ard sounded like a security threat, not a celebration. He didn't know Sarah, and he definitely wasn't planning to hide in a warehouse. The name, Hamish, rang a faint bell from a long-ago conference. But the message felt wrong. Logistics Dave's company used a warehouse on Dock Road, full of valuable electronics. The idea of people hiding there set off alarm bells. Was this a prank, or something more sinister? He checked security logs. Everything looked normal, but the message nagged at him. He could have ignored it, but his job was to anticipate problems. To him, this was a risk he couldn't overlook. Instead of replying, he escalated. He forwarded my text to the head of global security. The message, meant for a party, was now flagged as a potential threat. Logistics Dave had set the wheels in motion. He had to do something. He had to make a call. The story could have ended here with a laugh, but instead it was about to go global. All because of a single misdirected text, and I still had no idea. Logistics. Dave didn't call me. He went straight to official channels. He forwarded my text as an urgent security threat to Marcus Thorne, head of global security. Marcus, in a car in London, read the message, surprise, warehouse, hide. To him, it sounded like a planned theft. He didn't know me or Logistics Dave, but the details were too specific to ignore. In his world, you acted on specifics. He called his Singapore office, escalating the alert. My innocent party plan was now a data point in a global security system. The message zipped from Melbourne to Sydney, London, and Singapore. Soon, a team of analysts would see it as a coded criminal plot. The little blue bubble was rolling downhill, gathering speed and seriousness. And I was still at home, probably making tea. My thumb slip was now a global incident. The message was no longer mine. It belonged to the world's security apparatus, all from a single greasy tap. The story was out of my hands, and the consequences were just beginning. I remained blissfully unaware. The security team in Sydney started digging. My phone number, my name, Hamish, was suddenly under a microscope. They found my social media, my dog photos, my failed baking attempts. They found my real mate, Party Dave, and his wife Sarah. Then they discovered Party Dave worked for a rival shipping company. Red flag. Why was a rival's friend planning a secret surprise at their warehouse? Theories of corporate espionage took shape. Maybe I was the diversion, Party Dave the mastermind. Sarah's brother worked for a tech journalism site, another suspicious link. Every friendship, every post became evidence. My life was being rewritten as a spy thriller, all because I texted the wrong Dave. The house of cards was built on a single stupid mistake, and the investigation was just getting started. I had no idea my digital life was now a case file. The security report triggered an alert with the company's insurer in Zurich. Elena, an insurance investigator, was tasked with assessing the risk. Millions of dollars were at stake. She read the report: rival companies, tech journalist, coded message. It looked like a movie plot, but her job was to find the weak link. She dug deeper, looking for human details. She found baking forum posts, me asking about pavlova, Sarah sharing cake recipes. She saw a conversation about Sarah's favourite cake. Why would spies care about meringue? Eleanor cross-referenced the warehouse address. She found a trendy event space, the Docklands, next to the high-security warehouse. The security team had assumed theirs was the only warehouse on Dock Road. Elena realised it was a simple case of mistaken identity. The surprise was just a party. The threat was a misunderstanding. She had to act before things got out of hand. The truth was in the details. Eleanor had two stories, a looming heist or a baking-fueled misunderstanding. But the Sydney security team was already preparing a lockdown. Police were minutes from raiding the wrong warehouse. She had to act fast. Marcus Thorne was in the air, unreachable. The local team was convinced they were stopping a crime. Eleanor needed someone who'd listen. She called Logistics Dave, the man who started it all. He was in a tense meeting about the impending lockdown. An unknown international number flashed on his phone. He almost ignored it, but answered. Eleanor explained her theory. 2 warehouses, a birthday cake, a clueless friend. It sounded crazy, but more plausible than corporate espionage. Logistics Dave had a choice: trust the security apparatus, or a Swiss investigator with a cake recipe. He chose the cake. He burst out of the meeting, ordering the operation to stop. The police were told to stand down. Dave raced to the Docklands to see for himself. The clock was ticking. The fate of a birthday party and a global incident hung in the balance, all because of a single phone call and a little common sense. Logistics. Dave arrived at the Docklands just as I did, cake in hand. He looked stressed, scanning the scene for signs of a heist. Instead, he saw fairy lights, friends sneaking in, and me, Hamish, looking confused. He approached, asking if this was a surprise party for Sarah. I nodded, wondering if he was some kind of party inspector. He let out a massive sigh of relief. The police raid was averted, the insurance claim avoided. Logistics. Dave stayed for a drink, still processing the chaos. He explained there'd been a mix-up with the venue, an understatement. The tension drained from his face as he realised it was just a birthday party. He even had a slice of cake. He saved my number as Hamish, party only, to avoid future disasters. The party went ahead, Sarah was surprised, and the cake was eaten. The only thing missing was the SWAT team. The global drama ended with laughter and party poppers, all because someone double-checked the details. The world had nearly spun off its axis over a birthday. But in the end, it was just a party. Logistics Dave would never look at a text message the same way again, and neither would I. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one, and sometimes you just need cake. The crisis was over. The lesson was learned. The next day, the ripples of my text began to settle. Marcus Thorne landed to a report explaining how a pavlova recipe averted disaster. The company reviewed its threat assessment procedures, adding a new step. Is it just a party? Elena's reputation soared. She solved a global case with common sense and cake. She got a promotion. Her story became legend. My mistake made a global corporation a little smarter. For me, it was a lesson in double-checking contacts. Dave and I laughed about it. Our party plan had been analysed by security experts worldwide. It was funny, but also a bit scary. A small mistake can be misunderstood in a hyper-connected world. My world hadn't changed much, but I'd changed a little piece of the world for others, all with one greasy thumb, and a message sent to the wrong Dave. It's wild. A single text, less than 140 characters, set off a global chain reaction. From Melbourne to Sydney, London, Singapore, Zurich, it was misread, escalated, and finally understood. A digital butterfly effect. This adventure shows how interconnected our world is. We press send, and our words travel in visible networks, sometimes landing in the strangest places. Most of the time, nothing happens. But sometimes, a small mistake reveals just how complex that web is. The story could have ended with a SWAT team at a birthday party, but it didn't, because of the human element. Elena looked beyond the data. Logistics Dave trusted his gut. They stopped my mistake from becoming a catastrophe. In a world run by systems, it's the human connections that matter most. Always double-check which Dave you're texting. Small actions can have big consequences, and sometimes a party is just a party.